Curious, historical reflections. These reflections were compiled by Mir Ali Shah for the Inner Horizon podcast, drawing from the 12th century teachings of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. In his 16th Discourse, the Sheikh makes a devastating observation about human nature. He noticed that when most people see something bad, they make it widely known, but when they see something good, they keep it a secret. We see this reflex play out in our news cycles, our social feeds, and our ordinary dinner table conversations. Someone's fall becomes a daily currency, while a quiet rising in generosity remains invisible. The Sheikh argues that this harshness towards others, our rush to catalog their errors, is not the actual disease. It is a symptom of a shallow awareness of the Creator. When that awareness deepens, compassion arrives on its own. The way we judge and expose the people around us is a direct reflection of our own internal spiritual deficit. Beneath this deficit lies a desperate need to act as kings in our own small domains. In our houses and our workplaces, we accumulate tiny controls, managing our image and trying to force specific outcomes to keep ourselves safe from what we fear. The text gives this specific compulsion a name: quarreling with destiny. This is distinct from honest striving. Quarreling with destiny is the specific refusal to accept what has already been decreed, choosing instead to force reality to bend to our will. To understand why this modern anxiety is dangerous, we turn to an ancient diagram of the human soul, starting with the archetype of absolute control. Pharaoh functions as an archetype for the axis of control, a posture called pharaonism. His crime was using power to outmaneuver divine foreknowledge. Hearing a prediction a child would end his rule, he forcefully intervened, attempting to slaughter every newborn. The Sheikh warns that anyone who quarrels with destiny like this will be dealt a mortal blow. We spend enormous energy pushing against what has already been settled in the Book of Foreknowledge. Whenever we try to force an outcome that was not sanctioned for us, the very tools we use to maintain control become the instruments of our own exhaustion and defeat. The opposite axis of the human interior is the archetype of surrender, represented by Musa, Moses, and his mother. To save her newborn child from Pharaoh's butchers, she received a terrifying piece of divine inspiration. She was told to take the child she was trying to keep alive and cast him into the river. She was asked to give up total control. Every safe place, her house, a hidden cellar, had been made unsafe by the king's search. The only safety left was to place what she loved most into a situation that looked like certain death. This is the central paradox of the Musa posture. Sometimes the path to preservation is the very thing that looks exactly like complete loss. The river's current carried the basket directly to the palace of the man hunting the child. The child arrived at his executioner's front door, and the palace became his nursery. The scripture explains this using the phrase Mahabatan minni, love from me. Musa was a baby. He had done nothing to earn affection. Yet the entire palace was struck with compassion for him because love was poured into the very air around him. The theological point is that when the Creator loves someone, he distributes that love directly through the eyes of everyone who encounters them. The love comes from him, not the person's strategy. True protection and affection are never achieved through manipulation. They are gifts bestowed when a soul allows itself to be carried by the divine. The teacher frames these historical archetypes as the two primary axes of the human interior. Spiritual growth is the process of shifting our weight, moving from the Pharaoh axis toward the Musa axis. The psychological barrier to this shift is shame. Our need for control is often a bandage meant to numb and hide a deep-seated shame we cannot look at directly. Healing requires stripping away the armor of the controlled self through radical, uncomfortable self-acceptance of our actual flaws. True authenticity and vulnerability are impossible for the controlling ego. They are only accessible to the surrendered self, and they are the very qualities that draw others near. The Sheikh reminds us that we are authorized agents charged with looking after one another. A deputy's job is to lodge people under a protective shelter, not to publish their mistakes. This requires a practical reversal of the daily reflex. In our conversations and our inner accounting, we must learn to hide the bad and actively publish the good. Closing the distance to peace is not achieved through a single grand maneuver. It is a slow, granular, daily practice of letting go. Spiritual life begins when we stop quarreling with destiny. We accept our actual condition. We push our basket into the water, and we trust the current of the real to carry us exactly where we need to be.